Alright, that's already set up. Let's get this party started, shall we? How's everybody doing tonight, for starters? Why is this tight? What's going on here? Okay. I've got, let's see, 5 chains to make into rings to add to this cube we're making. And so I'm going to spend the bulk of tonight just chilling, hooking these rings together. So that we should have like half of our base platform done by the end of tonight. And then we might get some extra work done as well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So, for anyone popping in, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I make chainmail. And I've been doing it for way too long now. But I plan on doing it for like the next 40 years, so we'll see what happens. I like to stream what I work on. I am multi-platform streaming at the moment, so you can find me under the same username on all the other platforms, or go to my Linktree and check those out. Please, with all the things going on, you know, I don't know how this platform's gonna fare, but I will be hanging out on other platforms like I am right now. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. So all my socials are linked in the Linktree. The Mailworks app is linked in the Linktree. My store where you can get chainmail themed apparel and accessories is in the Linktree. What else? I think that's all there is in there. I need to add a few things. Excuse me, but that's computer work, and we don't do computer work unless we're really out of stuff to do. No, I'm just kidding. I really need to take a day and sit down. Oh, crap. Crap. Okay. So, this is... What have I done? What have I done? This goes here, this one here, this one's here. I got to make sure that these line up correctly, and they do. Okay. So, if you look closely, you can see all the rings lay a certain direction, right? So, I'm laying it out so that each ring on the XYZ axis goes the same direction. I think that's an important attention to detail thing. I don't know if it's going to matter in the long run, but I think it will. So, had to double check real quick. What am I doing? That's not the ring I want. I want these shiny rings. So what I'm doing is I've taken these strips of full Persian and added what's called box weave to the outside, and that makes a chain called Sandwyrm. And then I'm taking the chains of Sandwyrm and turning them into a ring and weaving them into another chainmail weave. It's called Japanese 4-in-1, and if you stack Japanese 4-in-1 correctly, you can get cool things like giant cubes like this. So, I did have like half of this made, and then I decided to tear it all apart for a couple of reasons. One of them was the rings were a little bit too large, the big rings that I'm making from small rings, and I took them all apart and reduced them down by 1 unit so that everything is a little more rigid throughout the entire sculpture, or throughout the entire structure. So that's what I'm rebuilding back from that. I do have about, I think I have some 50 or 60 odd chains that I need to add this outside portion to. 50 or 60 of the full Persian chains that I need to make into Sandwyrm. And then once that's done, I still need a total of 95. I'm on your FYP again. Right on. How you doing, Dylan? How many we got here? I had 8 earlier. This makes 9. Hopefully we'll have 12 completed rings by the time we're done. And we'll only need whatever 95 minus 12 is. 83. So we're going. We're getting somewhere. We're getting stuff done. I'm doing all right. Getting this project up to snuff and turning it into something cool. So I started this project. I shouldn't have. I got irritated that it wasn't quite right. And when I got the new batch of rings, they were shinier than the old rings. So I took it all apart. I used the old rings for the core weave, the full Persian portion. And I'm using the shinier, brighter rings for the outside. And that has taken up a lot of time to unweave all of that and then start putting it back together. And also, I have other more important projects that need to get done. But in the long run, it really doesn't matter. So, there is a herd of elephants upstairs. They are making cookies and ice cream. I got my wife and kiddo a ice cream attachment for the mixer. I forget what whatever the brand name is, the common household mixer. So now every now and then they make ice cream. And they've got some of the other neighborhood kids hanging out upstairs right now. So if you hear stomping, everything's fine. It's just a herd upstairs. I was like, should I go live while everyone is over? And it's like, I'm not going to let that stop me from going live. I don't think it'll be picked up too much, but I don't know. Can you guys even hear it? And of course, we've got the corgi puppy in his in his pen, dragging his pen around all over the floor. So that makes a ton of noise too. But all right, other than all of that, I spent the day trying to finish up the disassembly of this cube and reweave it back together. That is all I've done today. I did stop for lunch and breakfast, but that was about it. So today, tomorrow, between today and tomorrow, we should see a lot of good progress on this cube. Hoping to get it back up to where it was. I am supposed to be stopping everything I'm doing and making bracelets in May. And now I don't know if that's going to happen. Wow. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Where did that go? There it is. Yeah, the rings on the outside are from this big bin over here. This giant bin full of rings that, this is about 12,000 rings. And they're all spring steel. So they are a pain to open and a pain to close. They're very, like, you go to close them and you think you got it, and then they bounce like out of round, and so hyper-focused, masochistic. I don't know. Those are big words. It's definitely a hyper-focus. That's true. I do this like 8 to 10 hours a day. Right? I wouldn't call it masochistic. I just don't want to do anything else. You can love the pain of the project? Yeah. Do I love the pain of the project? No, not particularly. The worst that you get from making chainmail is you'll slip and jab yourself, right? I got myself there on my knuckle earlier. And hey Barb, how you doing? You're in awe? Well, thank you. Should be pretty cool once it's done. Hey Astrid. But most of the pain that you deal with when making chainmail is in your wrists. And you have to do a lot of stretching, take a lot of breaks, especially when working with this spring steel. It's ridiculous. All right, this last ring here. All right, am I going to even be able to close this? It's worse when you have sharp Zurons, yeah. The chisel nose Zurons, I am afraid of those just because of what I've seen them do to other people. I don't have a pair. I don't know if I'll ever buy a pair, but I've seen those pliers. These are Zuron 483s, right? And they're pretty sharp, but the chisel nose for some reason just takes chunks out of people. It's pretty crazy. All right. So, let's see if we can get this laid down a little bit more. For some reason, some of these big rings made from the small rings, the big rings made from the small rings, the sides don't want to lay down, and then on others, the sides just like lay down nice, flat, and smooth, and like I'm not doing anything different. I don't know why one does it and the other doesn't, but yeah, so that goes there. We need giant jelly cube. You need to get to the flat ones? You need to get the flat ones? Yeah. Giant jelly cube slow motion. This. I've got another cube coming that will be larger than this. The rings are not cut yet. Ooh, look at me shake my cube. Views are getting low. Time to be a whore. All right. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Let me get these out of the way. But no, like my best videos are some jelly cube videos, right? Almost 2 million views on one with the most comments I've ever gotten. And so I swear whenever I like start waving the cube on stream, more people stick around for longer. So it works. It works. If you want attention online, get a giant jelly cube. Those aren't what I want. I need 4 of these. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Oh my gosh. My little dog, I got a Chihuahua Beagle street dog from the streets of San Antonio mix. And he's like pretty chill, always has been. Little skittish, sleeps most of the day, is much more like a cat than a dog. For some reason today, I've heard him barking all day. So I don't know what his deal is, but I have gone and checked on him. He's fine. He doesn't need anything. He's had dinner, and he's been let out, and he's got snacks. So I don't know why he's barking. And it wasn't like at the window, you know, someone passing by. He was barking at people in the room, and I didn't know what he needed. It's like, you're fine. You're fine, dude. All right. I think we're going to get these attached quicker than I thought. There's only 5 done, right? Slowly making a giant jelly cube, still sawing. Oh, there you go. Right on. John over on Facebook is using 6-gauge wire to make his rings for his giant jelly cube, which is pretty nuts. Hey, Louie, how you doing? All right, come on. Let's get some flex in this. This is not. Come on, there you go. Just got back from a funeral for a resident. Long week. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Where are the rings I need? Yeah, those things are tough, you know? It's like I was unable to go to the last funeral of a family member that passed. That was a couple years ago. During the lockdowns. So that wasn't fun, but alright. I'm going to sneeze. I can feel it. It's coming. Excuse me. Hey, God. Man. Alright. Especially when I've known the person, family for just a year, you feel out of place, but this family welcome you and wife with open arms. Probably will keep in touch for life. Right on. When you say resident, I associate that with like a nursing home resident or a rehab facility resident, something like that. Am I thinking the wrong type of resident? It's like, I've worked in a few nursing homes. Assisted memory care. There you go. Yep. Come on. I worked in a few nursing homes as a nurse. And you spend every day with these people. You get to know them, you see them more than their family does, and we did have people who had their family come visit every day, right? But most didn't have family. So all right. It was just the residents hanging out with each other and the staff. So I'm trying to think. The only one that passed while I was there was like I was brand new to the facility and I didn't know them very well. I have had other patients pass away on me, but it's rewarding. There's a lot of loss. The widow said, "Welcome to the family," to you, and you bawled. Oh, yeah. That'll do it. That'll get you. Well, I hope you all remain fast friends. You always try to make a point to spend quality time with those without daily family. Yeah, we tried. We had to bring people in. So, you know, we had like an activities director, and they would coordinate not just activities for the residents, but, you know, one-on-one with the for patients that did not have any family. But since you live closer to the facility than them, you're private, not private pay, not a, since you live closer to the facility. Okay, hang on. Said he'd be proud to have a son like you, and he gave their kids your cell phone to check in on the mom. Since you live closer to the facility than them, you're private pay, not a state facility. Right on. Well, I hope you're able to do that. So I worked in 2 private pay facilities. And yeah, not my favorite job. I'm not gonna lie. Just because as a nurse, there's a lot of issues with patient load throughout all of healthcare. And that is why, you know how they're always saying, oh, there's a shortage of nurses, there's a shortage of nurses, right? There's not really a shortage of nurses. It's that there's a shortage of nurses who are willing to do bedside care in long-term care facilities, in rehab facilities, in hospitals, and so on. That's what they're short. And a lot of it has to do with things like patient ratios and administration. So I was always overwhelmed with like 35 patients, 40 patients, bedside care, long-term care for low-ass pay with bad patient care numbers. Yeah, 100%. So, if you can avoid it, and here's the thing that kills me, right? This is a fun fact for y'all. There is okay, the boomer generation holds a large portion of wealth, right? And I heard someone talking about, oh, there's going to be a great wealth transfer coming up as the boomers begin to age, you know, into nursing care homes and pass on, right? And what I don't think a lot of people realize is that most of the money that boomers have, that the elderly relatives in your life have, is going to go to pay for their end-of-life care. Right? Like, there's already a system in place to prevent any of that money from being passed on to the next generation. And that includes, you know, all the retirements, all the savings, the houses, all of it. Right? Just a little side note. As if the world isn't bad enough. Also, there's that tidbit of information. You're not involved day-to-day care, you're a chef, so you get to just feed them. Right on. Yeah. No, but it sounds like, you know, similar situation. If you can avoid putting your loved one in a long-term care facility, please do so. What is going on here? Oh, did I screw this up? Hang on, I might have just screwed this up because I wasn't paying attention. These were all going the right direction. This one I checked. No. Okay, this one is going the right direction. I need to pay attention to make sure that all the rings on each axis are pointing the same direction. Your mom just said just let her OD on insulin when she's losing it and cremate her. But yeah, that part is hard to stomach from your perspective. Yes, it is a complete drain on whatever wealth they had managed to accumulate. And, you know, that's just how our system operates. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Okay, let me check. Make sure the rings are all going the right way. But yeah, I have no intention of ever being put in a nursing home. If I start going crazy, just, you know, put me down. I don't care where, I won't remember. And call it a day, because if you sign your things over to someone you trust 6 years before you end up care home for the old, yeah, so that's a thing too, right? Like end of life planning. Of the people that I've met, and granted this was a few years ago, none of them ever had any end of life planning. They all did the whole use up all their savings, sell all of their belongings, and in order to pay for nursing home care. So if you have the opportunity to do proper end of life planning, please do so. You meant 5 years? Okay. What are we getting caught up on here? Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like there are ways around so much expense in life, but nobody knows how to do it. You know, and it's made overly complex and impossible to do these things because it's intentional. 6 years before is usually still difficult to obtain because a lot of people push it. Yeah, push it off till the end stages. Yeah. All sorts of end of life planning available, and you know, I mean, tons of people die without a will. You know, and that's probably the easiest form to get drawn up. Anyway, I don't mean to be so morbid. I'm just, these are things you should know. All right, sorry. This is not wanting to connect here. I don't know why it's... I did weave all these chains a unit shorter so that it would be more rigid. There we go. All right. This one does not want to cooperate. That's okay. Everything should work just fine. We'll get there. We'll get it figured out. And then it's going to work as expected. And it's all going to come out beautifully and be this perfect specimen. I can't wait. It's wrong that even can take what you've worked so hard for? Yeah. There are, when it comes to healthcare, all around, from start to finish, beginning to end, starting at every single level, there are too many hands in the cookie jar. Okay? There are too many third parties involved everywhere. And they all want to be paid, and they all want to do their little thing. And that is one of the biggest contributors to the astronomical amount of costs associated with healthcare. Healthcare doesn't actually cost as much as it costs. Right? And so, yeah, when you pass and all the stuff you've worked for gets taken by, when all the stuff you've worked for has to be sold off in order to pay for your end of life care, and you don't have anything to leave your family. You know, that's what I think is just utter horseshit. So that's part of the reason why I'm glad I don't work as a nurse anymore. It's like, it's so scammy. Did I not weave a ring correctly? What is going on here? Oh, I did. I was like, this is so problematic. What is going on? And then, hey, I did it wrong. Come on. Open up just a little bit. There we go. Well, no wonder it wasn't working earlier. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, I am an RN. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a nursing license. And I left 3 years ago now. And I'm glad I did. It is a career field where your goal is to help people, but that's the last thing that you get to do. So you end up just running around like a chicken with your head cut off most of the time, and you're only allowed to have $2,000 to your name in the end. Yeah, which is crazy. It's crazy. So, like I said, I have no intention of ever being put into a home. Just, accidentally. I want to do what my grandma did. Or is doing right now. Right? My grandmother is 95. 95? 94. 90 something. Okay? She is a type 2 brittle diabetic. She's the most compliant diabetic patient I've ever met. Okay? She has all of her fingers and toes. She never went through getting a wound on her feet that didn't heal. She had trouble with some, but they all got healed up. And she checks her blood sugar all of the time, like 100 times a day. And she's living by herself. She has some help from my dad, who comes to visit her every day. Right? So she's not alone. But she does. She lives by herself, and in the home that my dad was raised in. So that's my goal. It's like I'm just going to stay in my house and be active and feed people, because that's what my grandma does. And I don't know if that's a trick to a long life, but it sure worked for her. Unfortunately for the people who I feed, they're going to have to suffer with my cooking, which is not, it's not great. I'm not going to lie. It's like, it'll fill you up, but you might not like the flavor. I'm a terrible cook. I have improved. My son is not a picky eater, so I've been lucky in that regard, in that he will eat most of the stuff that I cook. But yeah, I'm going to grow old and feed people, and that is the secret to a long life, I suppose. Okay. One more ring on this side, and then we'll do the top, and then this one is done. Never to be removed. All right. So, the top ridge of these rings, right? Putting in these spring steel rings, that is, these are the hardest rings to place because there's no room to hold on to them. So it's real sketchy, and I've slipped several times doing it already. And I've gotten there. It's going. But yeah, I'm a little cautious every time I get to this point. And of course, the spring steel wanting to do a spring thing. And then once I'm done with these next two rings, I'll show you what this looks like so far. We're starting to get to a point where you can see the pattern kind of start to emerge. All right. Okay. There we go. We're going to do the next two rings for this corner down here, and that'll be 2/3 of our bottom layer done. And this is pretty tight. I think it's, like I said, I reduced the size of each of these big rings by 1 unit, so I think it's going to be pretty solid once we start getting it all together. But I was looking up large steel ball bearings earlier to insert into this space right here. The difficulty is I would have to make this cube a lot bigger in order to really rationalize putting ball bearings in here. So, like it. What are you doing? All right, how you doing, kiddo? I love you too. No, go upstairs. 4 of these rings. And we're quickly going to find out if making these rings, these big rings, smaller was the right idea, because there's not, right, there's already 3 rings through this ring. It looks like there's room for 1 more ring in there. We'll see. We will find out. Come on. Do the bendy thing. All right. Oh, got to make sure that it's facing the right direction. It is not. Is that better? Oh, what is going on here? Okay. Now it is. Slow moving train wreck. How you doing? Didn't check it at... Yeah. I didn't check it at first. Is this what I'm doing? Yeah, okay. So, slow moving train wreck, how you doing? I could be placing these rings like all day, and that's what I'll be doing, and I will forget to check. I promise you that. It's one of those things, you know you got to do it. Keep in the back of your mind, you say over and over and over again, you know, don't forget to grab toothpicks when you go to the grocery store. Don't forget to grab toothpicks when you go to the grocery store. You know, don't forget to grab toothpicks when you go to the grocery store. And then you get to the grocery store and guess what you didn't do? It is what it is. You know, if one of these rings is out, if I finish it, right, and it's not aligned correctly, I will take it out and put it back in, right? That's how, I don't know, that's how, it's an attention to detail thing that I want to make sure that I do. Does it really matter? No, I don't think so. But I was talking about it last night. It's similar to how when you are making something out of wood, you want to try and get all the wood grain to flow the same direction. Bobby, do you know Annie Homan 24/7? 247? She's still in here. Tool using Primate, you use your notes and love your cell. Sign you up for Fallout Pit Boys. Nice. Alright, Bobby, spell spaghetti as your next post or I'm going to block you. You got 10 seconds. I'm pretty sure they're always a bot when they come in and randomly tag someone. I should just start blocking anyone who tags people in the chat. I don't know what it's about, but... Alright. Spagutier. So here, block. Continuous wood continuous wood grain construction is fun planning. Yeah, like I'm not any good at carpentry. You know, did you spell it right? Spelled it good enough for me. Had the bot that popped in and tagged someone, wrote that, I would have been okay with it. Oh my goodness, wow. So I don't know anything about painting, right? But I'm sure that if you go and take a painting class, they'll give you tips on like what to look out for, right? With carpentry, it's, you know, try to make sure the wood grain's flowing in the right direction. With chainmail, right? With what I'm doing here, I'm just trying to make sure that the rings go in the same direction on all axes. I don't know if that's like a pro tip or anything. Sir, could you commission me to make a jelly cube? You're very interested. You want a jelly cube? You want a jelly cube? You do want a jelly cube. You don't know how much you want a jelly cube. No, but Astrid is hanging out, and Astrid takes custom work and requests and is set up to do all of that. I am... Where am I at? Oh. Okay. So this is progress on a cube that should end up being at least 15 rows wide. 15 by 15 by 15. The rings are much larger than this jelly cube I've got going on here. And I have the intention of building this out and raffling it off. So I'm a long way off from having this completed, so it kind of doesn't matter right now. But if you stick around in the future, we may at one point raffle this off. And this will be someone's kind of once in a lifetime opportunity to get a jelly cube this large. Most people in the chainmail community will never make a jelly cube like this big. Okay, there are 18,000 rings in this cube, and you know, the people that are hustling to sell stuff every day, right? They don't have the time to spend on something like this, you know. So the opportunity to even get a cube, you know, that is rare in itself. So to have one and raffle it off, or get an opportunity to win one in a raffle, it's a pretty rare event. You have the line shot, you can also do other metals besides aluminum. You would like to pay it right if possible. You would if someone paid you? Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying you wouldn't, right? But like 5x5, 7x7, 9x9, right? I think the people I see who do the hustle for vendor spots and run websites and whatnot. Like the large one I seen was the other day. It was a 10x10, and you know that's not all inclusive. I'm not trying to come at anyone, but it's like you guys got to make money. You know, you don't have time for vanity projects because you're too busy slinging them rings. Okay. Thank you, user 92146397065620. If you squeeze one of those rings, the built rings for the cube, would it pop open? If I squeeze one of these, yeah, you could crush it. Wouldn't be easy, but it wouldn't be that difficult. 9x9 you think would be sufficient? You're definitely focusing on stock. You wish you had time for fun stuff. I wish I had time to make stock. I wish I was at the point where I was done with all of this and could move on to the next stage of what I'm doing. Like a component ring to that full piece. Yeah, if you squeeze one of the large rings, the smaller rings will eventually open up. From ring okay, you make them as jewelry boxes, and it's one of the fun ones to tackle. You need a board the length of the piece and more weights than normal. From ring closures to direction of the weave is all a part of the art that makes mail, and what we like to argue makes what weave the best. It's more niche than a mail shirt. Yeah, for sure. 3%. Okay. So Mallory, if you would love a cube, we just got done. If you're hanging out in the chat and you're not following Astrid, but you like chainmail and you know, you get tired of me working on the same project night after night, you should go follow Astrid because she's a dope chainmail artist and makes really cool stuff, and she takes commissions and does custom work. And her website is Traphenemail, DRAPHENMAILLE. Astrid, would you type your website out in the comments, please? So yeah, go follow Astrid because she's cool, cooler than me. But Mallory, if you are looking for a cube, check with Astrid. She's hanging out in here, and she does custom work like that. I'm not set up for it. Maybe one day. Hopefully one day. What is her screen name? Yeah, she's in the chat right now. All right. She comes, she says hello. She does run her own streams, and she makes a lot of dope chainmail stuff that is more colorful and prettier than what I make. So give her a follow, check her artwork out and her website, and buy stuff from her. Why did I do that? Okay. You need a chainmail shirt? You're very welcome for the shout out. You love watching me work, thank you. Has Astrid ever dabbled in leather? I don't know. Eventually looking for male leather bulldog chest harness. Just male leather isn't your jam. All right, Rogue Nerd 3D. Think Geek has a chainmail shirt for 150 bucks. ThinkGeek.com. It's aluminum. But if you want help getting started making your own, I can help you there. We were discussing prices for shirts last night, and like the one person I can think of that has shirts listed on their website, the shirts are like 20 grand. Louis, if you're looking for a bulldog chest harness, I may know someone who does that type of stuff, I think. I don't know how much leather work they do, but they also might be able to do a collaboration. Yes, it's a jelly cube the hard way, for real. Oh, you want chainmail made from chainmail? Like you? Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. No, me too. I had a plan for that. I don't. It's not in reach right now. But yeah, a chainmail shirt made from chainmail, like, you know. It's not in the works yet, but it's definitely crossed my mind. All right. Like, I would collab with them. No, it's someone in that niche that I know of who might know someone who does leather work in that niche that they know. And that is probably going to be your best bet. That would be so heavy, yeah. Tried one in like 20 gauge and it was not for you. You have mad respect for the lofty goal, yeah. Yep, it's... Let's see here. 8, 13, 13. I'll have 13 rings of these big rings woven into place by the time I'm done. Right? And I will have 82 rings to go in order to make a cube. So this is the base of the... It's the base of the cube. We got one more row to go over here. It just happens to be the way we're building. And then we'll have our 3x3 bottom layer, and then we'll start building up. These are 16 gauge American wire gauge from the Ring Lord. And these are spring steel rings for the outside portion of these rings. And it's killing me. But yeah. So the base layer is going to be 3 rings down one side and then 3 rings, right? And then we'll build up. And it's like, despite not having any color, with all that texture, it just, I love it. That's beautiful, thank you. All right, let's see if we can't get this last one in here. Make sure we're going the right direction. Okay. All the rings need to go the same way. Where am I going here? Okay, 4 of these. Was this a... Yeah, it was. Okay. Did I not weave the last ring in this one? No, I did. Right? I'll check in a minute. So, gotcha. You work mostly on other end? Things like doing Byzantine and 24 gauge? There you go. I've done that. I mean, I've been doing this for 28 years. So, like, I have a lot of experience doing different things. And now that I'm at the point where I can do this full time. Like, I know what direction I want to take what I'm doing, and it's large chainmail sculptural pieces like this, right? I can't see my 24 gauge much anymore. It would help if I wove the ring in the right place. That would be beneficial to me getting this done. So I would need some magnifying glasses for 24 gauge, but Mad props for your work. You did some 3D printed mail the other day. Took 4 days to print an 8x8. Right on. Yeah, I want to get a 3D printer and experiment with some stuff. It's like with all the chainmail designs for my print products, right? That I think that I could lend an eyeball to the 3D printing world and how to go about 3D printing different chainmail patterns. Seems to be coming along pretty good though. Right, I see people making stuff, so that's cool. It's like someone was working on a jelly cube, a 3D printed jelly cube the other day, and I got a message from him somewhere in my inbox, and he sent me a video of the small cube he did, and it's like, that's, you know, that's going to be one of those files that you make and perfect and then sell it for $1 million. So I hope he does that. That's great that you can do this full time. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm retired. And I do this 8 to 10 hours a day. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. And so I run like streaming. I do streaming and I do this all day, and then I've got my website where I've got chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I've got to do some more work on that. Apparently the large tapestries aren't loading correctly, so I need to talk to a developer and figure out why that is. I don't know if it's when I loaded the product. I don't know if it's the website or what's going on, or the theme for my store, but I do need to take a day and do computer stuff. Actually, I probably should take a couple weeks because I have some designs in mind for hoodies that I want to get to. "36 minutes till 10. You saw someone make dragon scale on a mesh fabric? Words. You saw someone make dragon scale on a mesh fabric? Like scale armor onto mesh? Let's see here. So I've seen people do like crocheted gloves with scales woven into them, which are pretty cool. You dabble in web design shit if you want to drop a DM about it. Well, there's the theme developer, and then there's the Shopify developer, and I'm still waiting to hear back from the theme developer. Astrid, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you stopping by. It's nice to just be able to go, hey, check out her right there. She'll hook you up. Have a good night. One more time, if you haven't followed Astrid, go follow her. She makes awesome chainmail stuff and does take custom orders and requests and stuff, and has stock of stuff. And her website is Trafine Mail. And if so, I'm gonna have to look it up. Hang on. DRAPHENMAI. Yeah. Down button. What is this? What did I do? No. Cut. What is this? Get out of here. Okay. Try that one more time. Copy, paste. Okay, screw it. I hit too many buttons on my computer. Your work is amazing, and thank you for your service. Thank you. You're very welcome, Astrid. I appreciate you hanging out. Astrid also streams, so you get more chainmail content. It's like at one point in time, I thought about like creating a channel that had like multiple shows on it, so that someone was streaming on it all the time. I still want to do that. Think you broke your Fallout 4 with mods? Yeah. Do I LARP? No, I'm not cool enough for LARP, and the age that LARPing came about, I was out of the country. I was in another country. But I don't LARP. I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I do go to Renaissance festivals. And sometimes I LARP as a cool person with a motorcycle. But that's it. For anybody who's been in here more than twice, I'm sure they're like, oh, you can't go one night without talking about his motorcycle. You're right, I can't. You do play D&D? Yeah, D&D wasn't a thing growing up when I was a kid, and board games were a form of torture in our house. So, like, any tabletop game, like, there are graphic things that I can't describe on any of these platforms that I would rather do than play a board game or a tabletop game, because of the way my parents were growing up. Love them dearly. Like, I'll never play Monopoly again. I do have to set those feelings aside, though. Because I have a son and I need to take care of him. You know, and he deserves to have someone play board games with him. And so we play Catan with him, which I don't mind too much. We played the little kid Monopoly. I'm okay with that. But the adult size Monopoly, I'll never touch that game again. Okay? And, you know, a few other kids' games that he's had. But for the most part, I'm just like, yeah, no. You're on your own, buddy. You can't play Monopoly without bloodshed. As a former motorcycle rider, feel free to keep mentioning it. All right, I will. If that Stage 4 131 cubic inch Street Glide is still at the dealership in June, I might go get it. We'll see what happens. I'm very tempted to just go work a corner to get that bike. Very tempted. All right. Almost done. This is the sketchy part of the new 2024 HD Street. Now, this is a 2019 that someone put a 131 in. But when the dealership that I go to get my oil changes at, it's a, run-of-the-mill bike shop. They put a chain conversion on it. They upgraded the shocks. And a few other things to make the bike more compatible with the engine, right? Because a Stage 4 131 cubic inch engine is not compatible with a belt drive, right? You ride it too hard, it'll just rip that belt to shreds. So they put a chain conversion on it and a couple other things. I would add a turbo and have it dynoed. Oh, Jesus. I almost died. I almost stabbed myself in the neck. Did you see that? Hey, Angel, hang on. I'll show you in just a second. Let me get this last ring in here before I go for the jugular accidentally. Oh, good Lord. This is the spring steel. Like, it's closed, but it just bends just enough to be out of round. All right. Your dealership, your oil changes? Yeah. I do dealership my oil changes. Don't judge me. So this is the base layer for a jelly cube, right? But we're making the rings out of smaller rings and then putting the larger rings together. And it's coming together. Did I see the TikTok of the mud tire custom guy? Is it the one with the giant, like 4-foot diameter tires? Yeah. So I have a garage and it's got my motorcycle and a Corvette in there. It's not my Corvette. So there is no room for working on cars, right? I did install the speakers onto my Harley, and I'm sure I could do the fluid changes myself, but I hate going to YouTube to learn stuff. So I'd much rather, and this is like handyman stuff too, right? I would much rather pay someone to do something so that they know, who knows how to do it the first time, right? Than try to save money and make 7 trips to Home Depot or, Napa or wherever, trying to do it myself, right? You change your oils yourself, put on your shaft drive, took it to shop, that and shocks, yeah. So, I mean, I've been riding for a few years. I rode from here to Colorado and back a couple years ago. Like, I've changed oil in my car. I don't now, right? Like, I could. But for me, it is more, it's worth the time I save to have someone else do it. Where am I at now? I'm at home. Could buy an Harbor Freight car kit or pay a guy to make it work right the first time for convenience. And that's the thing, right? Like, I want... Doesn't that look cool? When we get that third row on there, it's gonna look like this. Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's easier to take it to the guys that know, get it done right the first time, and I'm not, trying to figure stuff out, right? I'm not opposed to going and watching 1,000 YouTube videos and going to Lowe's and Home Depot, right? But if I can avoid that, right? My time is more valuable building stuff here. So if I can avoid that stuff, I prefer to. Does that make sense? What happened here? Carb kit, is the time worth it to you or the money? Yeah. You're in Florida. I'm in Wisconsin. I'm in Wisconsin. You did 8 years? I did 7. Well, 6 years and 9 months or something like that. After 2 tours, I was like, all right, I'm going to go and do something else now. My first tour, I would do that again. My second tour was dumb. Carb tune, brakes, change a tire. You'd rather pay a guy? Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, I can go and get the tools to do it all and get set up in my garage where I don't really have room, or I can just pay someone. It's like... Alright. So, now that those are attached, can I get this stack up here without ruining it? No? Oh, man. Okay. Aside from the top row, there's 10 strands of these full Persian chains in each stack, and there's like 5 stacks. So there's like 56 of these chains that I have already made. I'm gonna move these over here. So I've got to add the box to the outside of these before I can make more rings to put this together. So the other thing I have to do, don't do that, is I've got a pile of the older rings over here that I have to turn into chains of full Persian so that I reach 95. It's going to take me 95 of these big rings to finish this sculpture. Right now we have 13, and then 57 of these strands, 58, something like that, 56, I don't know, in this pile here. I should count them again. Oh, excuse me. So I need, what is that? I need 25 more strands of the full Persian, right? And 82 more rings, 82 more big rings like this, right? And then I'll have my 3x3 cube sculpture done. That's freaking cool. Thank you. So, what do we got? 10 minutes. Much respect for the art. You were doing amazing work. Thank you. Thank you, Alita. Oh, that makes me think of Alita Battle Angel. Which makes me think that, you know, the fact that they haven't made a sequel to that movie is just, it's upsetting. I'm not going to lie. I like that one. So, a couple of minutes, we'll work on a little full Persian chain, get those out of the way. Get all these old rings used up. I don't know if I have 25 strands of full Persian left in this ring pile and this coffee can, but how many years do I have invested total in chainmail? 28 years. But don't hear that number and think, oh, it took him 28 years to get this good. No, you can become this good in like 6 months, okay? It's not hard. What I have is what would you call it? I've done a lot of the rest of the stuff that, you know, I've learned a bunch of different weaves, right? I've made a bunch of different bracelets and necklaces and earrings. I've sold stuff at the Texas Renaissance Fair. What do you call it? What else have I done? It's like I've never been one of the people to hustle back and forth during the weekends. Like those, it's mostly, I don't know if it's mostly women, but the ones I notice that are churning out stuff every week are women, right? Like I've never wanted to do that, but I have done. I have done booths. And I have sold stuff at the Texas Renaissance Festival. So I've gone and done events, right? I'm not great, but, you know, I've done a lot over the course of that lifetime of 28 years. And so what I'm doing may look complicated, right? But this is just 28 years. After 28 years, I finally figured out a way to take something simple and make it complex, right? Like, full Persian's one of the first weaves you learn, okay? The box weave that you add to the outside, that's one of the first basic weaves that people learn most of the time. Just taking those two things to make Sandwyrm is not hard. It's just a cool weave I found on one of the, on Male Artisans, you know, and it's, what's the word? Like it's not a complex thing to do. I'm just taking something simple and adding another layer of complexity to it. You hear that number, you think, damn, you turned 27 this year? Yeah, I'm old, dude. You're always so encouraging. Thank you. How you doing, Cassandra? I designed the MailWorks app in that time and collated the information. Yeah, I try. Trying to go back in there and put that all back together. Trying to add more to it, make it more useful to people. People want a jelly cube tutorial. I want to make that and put it in there. That's a computer day thing that I got to do. Right? Full Persian is what you've been working on, trying to learn and get better. There you go. It's, I don't know, I've got a whole bunch of it right here. And that's the thing, right? Like, I made the app because I can't teach, right? All I can do is say, you'll find that information that direction. Excuse me. You know, I guess my point was I've done a lot of the other stuff that people start out doing, right? And honestly, I started when I was 14. I didn't really start making quality stuff until about 15 years ago. And I've been, you know, on a roll since then, making cooler and cooler stuff. This, right, as of right now, this cube will probably be like a pinnacle accumulation of like 28 years, right? Like, it's a pretty cool project. Especially if it like is rigid and holds its shape and looks good. I think it will. You've been working on making your son a chain? He loves my work. Oh, awesome. Once you get the basics down, like getting good ring closure, knowing when a ring is closed, getting a basic set of weaves underneath you, right? Like the learning curve is really steep when you start off. Okay? And it's hand-eye coordination, ring closures, a lot of it's basic information like, you know, what materials do you use for jewelry and what ones do you not, you know? And then a lot of it is just, you'll come into a project and you'll have a question and you'll have to go research that question, right? So it's not that it's deep, complex, hidden knowledge or anything. It's just, you know, you haven't arrived at that step yet. And the chainmail world is being built out right now, you know. What weave are you going to do for your son? Yeah, what weave are you making the chain out of for your son? You love the progression of learning a few weaves and then relating it to new weaves or projects? Yeah. Like half Persian 3-in-1 into Persian dragon scale. Mail glove for work, you keep injuring yourself. MZ, can we see the cube? You've been learning full Persian? Oh, okay, that's the one you're making. You've had to figure out how not to mix gauges? Yeah. 5 times you burn yourself, actually. Each splatter is 1 burn. The cube. The cube is our master. He will choose which one of us is worthy. All right. Yeah. I've got 32 ounces of rings to add to this as well. That's another project. But that project has to be funded. So, where are we at here? You're telling your wife about it? She exclaimed, wow. Right on. Gotta get one of those Toy Story alien... Words are hard, man. Gotta get one of those Toy Story aliens for the cube, yeah. Alright, hello MZ's wife, how you doing? Thanks for taking a look. Glad you like it. Alright. I think you're trying not to overbend the rings. You really... Yeah, full Persian's a good one. Makes a good chain. I like it. It's got... Like, if you make it a little tight, it's nice and rigid. And, if you make it loose, it can bend in all directions. I don't have a necklace here. Yeah, I do. I lied. So this is my full Persian chain, made of square wire stainless steel, and those are some beads I made out of elf weave, and I think 22 gauge 3/32 rings maybe. I don't remember the ring size on those. Focus. So I'm lengthening this one right now. I just got the rings in the other day. No, there's no split rings here. How you doing, JP? You saw a neck chain that looked like Persian, but it was not quite hand-woven style. There's a lot of those. That was a struggle for you as well when you started. Not overbending the rings, yeah. You had to redo a chain after you mix gauges. That was a learning experience, yeah. You've broken many aluminum rings. I haven't. I find that the rings that I broke were a bunch of stainless 18 gauge 3/16 rings. And other than that, I didn't have a lot of rings that broke. You'll run into them occasionally, right? Candy cane cord is good after you have a little experience. Fairly difficult to start. Yep. Candy cane cord's a good one. Some of the weaves that I want to learn that I've never had the time or the right ring size for are like JPL 5, 7, or JPL 5, JPL 7. Pencil weave, I've never done that one. I've tried Moorish rose, never been successful. I don't know if I've had the right ring size for that. It's like I currently am largely limited to the rings I have on hand. I do keep trying to not order rings unless I'm finishing a project, and that project requires 12,000 extra rings. Then I'll order rings. But no, I'm trying to use up all the rings in my basement, finish all the projects that I have, build out the rest of my ability down here in the basement as far as I've got a welder, I want a riveting setup, I want a coiling and cutting setup, I want an anodizer, right? Like I'm trying to get to that point where all this is done and I have all those tools, and then I'll go on to learning more weaves and making stock and building sculptures. JPL3 is tough for some people. I am some people, yeah. Once you get it though, I've broken plenty of titanium. You get so annoyed with Moorish rose, yeah. Bro, not ordering rings, did you just order? Yeah, I just ordered 12,000 of them for this. And I have another, what's 32 times 700? Calculator. 32 times 700. Yeah, that's not right. No, that's close. That's close. Right? I have enough rings on hand to get this cube almost to the halfway point. Once this cube is completed, it'll have 44,000 rings in it. almost 45,000. There's 18,299 in it right now, according to the math. There's 3,000 rings in here, and I need to, so that's 21,000. So I need another 23,000 rings, and I've got those in a shopping cart. And as soon as I get paid, or as soon as I get my tax return, figure out what needs to be paid off and what money needs to be moved where, then Aussie Mail on YouTube has a wonderful tutorial for JPL3. Aussie Mail is listed in the tutorial section on the Mailworks app. So if you are someone who struggles with chainmail weaves and you want help, there is a section in the Mailworks app for tutorials. And it's, Aussie Mail's in there, Lisa Ellis is in there, and I forget who else is in there. I haven't looked at it in quite a while. That's a section that I should maybe look at updating more. Anyway, download the Mailworks app and check out the tutorial section. You can do it, but for you, JPL and scale mail have been the hardest for you. You have, if you have the right ring size, the on the 4th ring, you'll be like, oh, this is so easy. You broken simple titanium rings for your jewelry, just tweaking it too far. Yeah, that'll do it. 3 past 10. I'm gonna go a little longer than we normally do. I normally stop at 10, but we're all having such a good time. The kid's been out of school for 2 days. He's been sick, and so he's not gonna go to bed anytime soon. And it's like I can finish 1 or 2 of these. See if I can finish one. You're down for it all? Right on. All right. But yeah. There's nothing I don't know how to explain it. There's nothing that I do that's like overly complex or super intuitive or okay, I'll give you an example of someone who who blows my mind every time I see his work. All right, have a good one. Thanks, Rotten Pieces. I'll see you later. And his name's his shop is Brilliant Twisted Skulls, right? Or Brilliant Skulls on Etsy. Okay? And I'm a big fan. I would love to be as good as I consider him. Right? He makes some pretty rad, highly complex, highly technical chainmail pieces. Right? More so than anything I'm doing. Another person who is amazing is Lisa Ellis. Like her Moorish Rose, Van Gogh's Starry Night is amazing. These rings over here are the rings that were unwoven from the original cube I was working on, and this pile was like 4 times its size earlier today, and has now become this pile of strips of full Persian. So these are all open, yeah. No, I am not opening them with my hand. So, I guess here's the thing. I'm taking something fairly simple and making it more complex. They are taking stuff that is very complex and making it more complex. Does that make sense? I aspire to be like them, maybe one day. We'll see. One of the things I'd like to do is start buying other people's tutorials for stuff and some kits and just making them on stream. I think that'd be fun. And I think that would be educational for myself, right? Not necessarily for the audience or anything. Because when you order a tutorial, right, the etiquette in the chainmail community is that you don't share the ring sizes in the tutorial. Someone worked hard on that tutorial, and they sell it because as a means for them to make money. What's the ballpark cost of a 2XL tank top? That is dependent on the weave. Another. How you doing? Another hard case. You can go probably as low as $250 to as high as you want, I would think. Like if you just want a loose weave, European 4-in-1, $2X tank top. So I'm a 2X. What would I charge for that? Yeah. If I used the ring size I'm using right now and used European 4-in-1 as the weave, probably $250. Thanks, Bulldog. And if you want to know, you should have one. If you want a chainmail that is good enough to stop a blade, that is an entirely different price. I can guarantee you that. If you want it 3,000-4,000 easily, no. For something like that, used, do you want it to look good or is it for protection, right? I'll tell you right now, I will not guarantee any of my chainmail to be blade or bullet resistant or stab resistant or any kind of resistant. As far as I'm concerned, it will wilt at the sight of someone pulling out their fists, right? But in theory, if you were to just use a cheaper material like, say, galvanized steel, right, and weave that together, it's fairly cheap material. It's not a ton of work. But it is a lot. For a vest. Yeah, if you're just looking for function, a 2XL shirt, probably starting around $500 would be my guess. You have a Lotus candle holder tutorial somewhere that you could do. All ring sizes listed, I believe. But whose tutorial is it? You're very welcome. Another hard case. Right? Like... Your last one was a gift? If it's a, what do you call it? If it's a open to the public tutorial, that's, one thing. Right? If it's a tutorial they sell on Etsy, that's another. And I'm not ready to start doing kits or anything. I need to finish this stuff down here first and stop adding multi-thousand ring projects to the crap I'm doing already. I need to finish some of the crap I'm doing. But we'll get there. We'll get there, and we'll do some tutorials. That'll be fun. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Thank you. That's the muddy bit. It was someone that sold to TRL, but is no longer sold by anyone. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so in that case, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do in that situation would be. You know? But if there's no clear owner and it's just a free-floating tutorial, I suppose that the person to claim it is the owner. Am I making a shirt? No, I'm not. I am making essentially what I'm making is a cube, right? But I'm making each individual ring for the cube using smaller rings, right? And so each one of these that I make will become one of these rings, and then I weave the big rings together, and this will eventually be a 22-pound sculpture that stands like yay high, hopefully. All right, Louie, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Only posted because there was proof of it being open to the public. Oh, no, okay. That's fine then. All right. I have made shirts in before, and at least one of them is going to get torn apart. And we're going to put a liner on it. We're going to trim all the edges, and we're going to make it a little more, we're going to make it a jacket instead of a shirt with buckles to close it and fur trim and all that fun stuff. That's a long way off. That's probably a next year project. We'll see. Plenty to do between now and then. If you catch a live and you were doing tutorials, we're glad to send you a kit in the link. Alrighty. Well, I appreciate the support. Right, at one point I will end up finishing all the projects in my basement, and so I will need content with which to make, with which to stream with. So, kits seem like a natural progression. You love getting people into the hobby? I do too. It is... Getting people into the chainmail hobby is the primary reason why I do this. Also, go to my store and buy my stuff. It's always awesome whenever someone comes on and, you know, it's like, holy cow, what are you doing? I've had at least 3 people that I know of hop in and be like, that is amazing. How do I get started? And then we go through the process of how to get started. And they come back and join another live stream, and they were like, hey, I got this kit and I'm doing this thing and I'm loving this. So I've effectively shown 3 people, which I feel really good about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You started years ago after watching Fairy Wings on Twitch? I know the name. Fairy Wings. Fairy Wings. Trying to put a face to the name. I think I know who you're talking about. Does she have bright pink hair? Does she even still stream anymore? I haven't seen her name pop up in ages. I think I'm still subscribed to her channel. I would have to go check that out. That is one thing too, right? Like, okay. I like to make content, and I like to make chainmail. And doing those two things doesn't allow me the time with which to go and hang out in other people's streams, or, you know, check out what they're making on, or what they're posting. And so, like, I feel bad. I try to repost as many videos related to chainmail as I can if I'm like taking a break and just scrolling TikTok, and I try to sit on other people's lives when I get the opportunity. But like, I know that people appreciate it, and I wish I could do it more. Almost all of the creative community died on Twitch, unfortunately. Oh, interesting. I have only ever gotten 1 or 2 people on Twitch show up in a stream. We've been streaming to Twitch all night, and no one's shown up, right? And like once, I think we had someone last night come in and say hi, right? And then once in a while, you'll get someone who comments and engages and everything. But it has never been very often for me. So, because yeah, there were a few creators I followed. Talk Custom, Fairy Wings. This was years ago. Who else? Cinnabar. That was a good one. Cinnabar is one of those people who is a phenomenal chainmail artist. And he used to do these big Saturday streams where he'd anodize titanium. Like, he'd stream prepping, doing all the prep work, and then he'd stream anodizing all the titanium, and then he'd give it all away, and he'd make a bunch of chainmail projects, and some of his projects are amazing, right? So that was a good Twitch stream to follow. I remember one night I won like 4 things in a row, and they're like chopsticks and sporks and flasks and stuff like that, all titanium, and he would anodize them on stream. And just give them away, right? I won, like, I had won several times. But, like, winning 4 times in a row in one night, or not, I don't even remember if it was in a row, but winning 4 times in one night, right? I was able to hook other people up that had never won with some chopsticks and stuff like that. Yeah, Talk Custom, I believe he still does YouTube. I see him pop up every now and then. Talk Custom is he sews. I haven't watched a video from him in a long time, but he makes cool stuff out of sewing. And last I checked, he had a streaming setup that was quite cool. Those are, I don't know, I have not, like, you get busy and life gets hard and you don't have time to spend supporting other people in your niche. That was where I was going with that. I would like to do more, but I do have work to do, and I've got stuff to get done, and I try to pop in and on people's streams and share what I can, and throw a like here and there. And I wish I could do more, but so if you posted something somewhere, anywhere on the internet, I'm all over the place, and I didn't like it, I'll get to it shortly. All right. And that's Oh, okay. I find it interesting that the whole creative community moved on from Twitch. Right? Were other websites more profitable? Because I know some of those people, like, that was their job, was to stream. And that's why they left. Because Twitch made some executive decisions and killed it off. I bet that was it. I don't make money. The reason I ask is because I don't make money off of any platform. Right? I've never had an audience big enough to make money off of them. Off of anyone. Right? Like, I take the occasional commission of my chainmail and I sell stuff off of my store. And I, just because I've never had the opportunity to attract enough people to make money off of them, you know? Like, I only have one video that's done over 1 million views. Almost 2. My second video is getting there. It might be there. It's like 980,000, so it's close. Ultimately, they removed creatives, so there was no homepage for creatives. Oh, interesting. So it was like just killed off. Jesus loves you too. They may be different now, but it was gone long enough that things died. Interesting. Which makes me wonder, like, where am I? I should log into Twitch and check, because I'm streaming to the makers and crafting group, and I'm wondering if it's not even there. Maybe that's why I'm only getting the occasional person. Twitch is like, we don't know what this guy's doing, so we'll just serve his stream up to random people. Right? I wonder if that's... If I go in and change that, I wonder if I would get more on there. But, you know, doesn't make a whole lot to me. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me one way or another. Right? Twitch was just an ancillary platform that I added to the number because I was already streaming. I had to find a way to stream to YouTube and to a social media channel that I had an audience on, which was Facebook. Right? What I'm working on is not nickel free, no. How you doing, Benson? We can put you in touch with nickel free chainmail. Even huge creators like K Pike, fashion struggled. Wow. Excuse me. So I had an audience on Facebook, so I started streaming there, but I wanted to record all of the progress I made on each of the projects that I made. So I got Streamlabs and streamed to YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And since I was adding platforms to stream to, I threw Twitch in there as well. And currently, oh wow. We get goodness gracious. X, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. X, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. And X, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Is that it? I think that must be it. Right? Trying to get TikTok in there too, but I got to hit 10,000 followers, so. All right. So Benson, what I'm working with is stainless steel, which has nickel in it. But there are materials that do not have nickel in them. So like titanium and niobium. People who have an allergy to nickel often do well with anodized aluminum as well. So if you're looking for someone to make you something, I can point you in the right direction to a couple of other creators here on TikTok. Wayward and Whimsical is one. And Astrid Wolf. And Astrid was hanging out with us earlier, but she has a small child and a business of her own to run and had to go. So it's Astrid Wolf and Wayward and Whimsical. Richard Toddy is another one. And I have another person in mind, but I don't know the status of their commission request taking. So, and then if all of that fails, in the link tree in my bio is the Mailworks app, and that app has an artists section, and all of those artists in that app, except for one because she closed down and I haven't pulled her name out, but all of those artists take commissions and have stock and take requests and whatnot. So if you can't get what you need from the artist I recommended, check out the Mailworks app and look there. I know a lot of chainmail artists, and someone will make you some nickel-free chainmail. You're very welcome. All right, where are we at here? Oof, okay. All right. I'm going to stop here. Okay. I got about halfway, a little over halfway finishing this. Just got to do the rest of the outside portion. So, for anybody watching, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. I also make chainmail, and I hang out usually 8:30 to 10, multiple nights a week. We went a little later tonight just because we had like 120 people in here, so that was cool. But it is 10:30, and I've been weaving almost all day. Oh, those are the cookies?
Yeah.
Right on. I got a cookie, so I got to eat this. Time to go. And my hands are killing me at this point. So this is the cookie the herd of elephants was making upstairs. It looks delicious. So for anyone interested in learning how to make chainmail, right? I'm a bit biased, but I think that you should go to my link tree and download the Mailworks app. All the resources that I wish I would have had when I first got started are listed in the app, and I'm trying to make it more user friendly and have more tools, for everyone. Have a great night, Austin. Thanks for hanging out. So I would start there if you're looking to get started on your chainmail journey. If you are like Benson looking for someone to make you something, there are a couple other creators on TikTok and a bunch all over every social media platform. And a lot of them are listed in the Mailworks app, so that is also a good place to go and check the artist section for someone who makes chainmail and takes custom requests and stuff like that. If you want to see me continue to make cool stuff out of chainmail, I need to fund these projects, and you can help me do that by getting yourself something from my website over at mailworks.com. All my chainmail themed apparel and accessories are there. A lot of cool stuff and more stuff coming, so I definitely pay attention to when we got new stuff out. It's coming soon, once I sit down and work everything out on the computer. Other than that, thanks to everyone for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you come back. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You all have a lovely evening. I'm going to go put my hand in some ice because after dealing with these spring steel jump rings, take some ibuprofen. You all have a good night.